Good morning again. Abshini, Macheroni, Fukile. Okay. Just to let everybody know, we have services for people who can't or who have a problem with hearing or who can't hear properly. You will just raise your hand and our colleagues would come and assist you with the hearing gadgets, which have got different languages in the event that you want to change to a different language. You just raise your hand just before we start. You will be identified and the gadgets will then be distributed to you. And we won't be able to give to everyone. Please just bear with us on that score. But we are going to make sure that we cover as much as we can. Secondly, I know that we all have these beautiful gadgets, cell phones. For the process of today, myself and my colleagues, our cell phones will be on silent because everybody important for this session is in this hall. So I'm going to ask that we lead by example, colleagues, all the officials, that our cell phones be on silent. We would appreciate if you can keep yours, a very important guest for the day, keep yours on vibrate so that when they ring, you may just step out and take their calls. And I don't think that there's anyone who would appreciate that we hear conversations that would be between you and the caller. Lastly, on the packages that you've been given, it's information about the legislature. I have noticed that already cards have been opened. Once you open those cards and you try and put money to gamble, they would just fade, they would be blank. So please don't try it. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Sanibonani. Ngibona izandla ziphakeme, ngiyabulisa kuphela. Is everybody having a microphone? Okay. Azofika singaqala mos ne? Because niyayibona weather is not well, and then we want to make sure that we finish on time. Elder person goes back home for the nap, ne? Yeah, because you can't miss your nap. Okay. May we all stand up? Let's have a moment of silence for just the time being. Thank you. Hope everybody is well today. And you have come to your own parliament as elderly people. So those who don't have microphones, they will just be giving you just now, don't worry, as we continue. Without waste of time, I'm going to run the program for you today. We are going to ask our Honorable Baba Tshwane Kunene to come and do a declaration.
Sanibonani. Ngizokwenza umsebenzi lo ukuthi le ndawo sibize siyenze iparlament kahle. So ngizawufunda lapha ke. I Tshwane Kunene, as the Deputy Chairperson of Committees, hereby declares Ferndale Recreation Center in the city of Johannesburg as the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature in terms of Rule 59 of the Standing Rules of the Gauteng Legislature, read together with Section 2, subsection 1, and Section 28 of the Powers, Privileges, and Immunities of Parliament and Provincial Legislatures Act number 4 of 2004. The precincts of Parliament, Provincial Legislature are described as follows. The precincts of Parliament is the area of land and every building or part of a building under Parliament's control, including the chambers in which the proceedings of the houses are conducted, and the galleries and the lobbies of the chamber, every part of the buildings in which the chambers are situated, and every forecourt, yard, garden, enclosure, or open space, committee rooms, and other meeting places provided or used primarily for Parliament's purposes, and every other building or part of a building provided, used in connection with the proceedings of Parliament while so used. For the duration of this meeting, this place will be the precinct of the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Thus, the standing rules of the legislature will apply and govern all the engagements of the day. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kunene. as we are going to start, may we all stand up and sing the national anthem. Oh, seboloke, chabasa, Jesus, chabasa, South Africa, South Africa. 80 blow van ons hemel en die diepte gebed van die aanse antwoord geef. Some to come together and united we shall stand. Let us sing and strive for freedom in South Africa, our land. Thank you. I'm going to direct this program for you today. My name is Wanda Monwa from Mamelodi Older Persons Forum. I am going to ask Honorable Tshwane again Kunene to come and give us the purpose of this session.
Kalebu wa memonwa. Ngibulise nonke, ngibulise ama-officially abuya kuma-department ka-government. Ngidumedise ba tswang IEC memula. Ngidumedise bontate ba tswang ho SASSA mo le kgolang teng ba teng mona a sa kena tšhelete le tla ba bona bontate bana ba tla mona pela lona mona. Ke ba dumedise le bona. Ntate Mavuso le ntate Muleki le tla ba bona. Ere ke check hore le tswa ho kae. Kopa bona ba tswang khutlo tharo ya Lekwa mo ke tswang teng. Phamisang matso ba tswang Val Sidibeng. Ai no le bangata dumelang batho ba Val dumelang. Ere ke bone batho ba West Rand ko di mining. Le kae batho ba West Rand le kae? Le teng. E re tswa ba tswang ko Eguruleni, place of peace. Ni sharp Eguruleni ni sharp. Ola. E re bone ba tswang ko Tshwane. Le pila. Le right. All right. E re bone ba tswang ko Jose Maboneng. Eseleir. Ah, batho ba Jose ka re le swakenyana. Le teng batho ba Jose. Ha, ke tseba Jose tso ditlefa ka re lona ali di bone hantle tje. No, it is an honor for us legislature that today re kopane hape as a follow-up session to the session that we held last year. As a legislature, our mandate is that when you elect us during provincial and national government elections, you're giving us a responsibility, a mandate to make laws that will serve you as the citizens. Having made those laws, we have a responsibility to hold the Premier and MECs accountable. Because as the legislature, we approve the budget. That budget, the Premier, the MEC, they use that money to implement programs that must serve the people of Gauteng. Our responsibility as the legislature is to make sure that they use that money correctly and for your benefit. But one of the responsibilities is to make sure that as citizens, we make space for you to participate in the governing of this province. Imomlaung was South Africa that citizens must participate in their own governance. So it doesn't end only with elections. That's not the only time where you participate in the governing of your country. You must vote. Mewa aisutlo bua ka bohloka ba vote mara lona ke a tseba bongata bana la vote akere. O ruteng o soka a vote mona. Is there anybody who has never voted here? Okay, I take it that all of you have voted. So you vote. After having voted, you are required or you have an opportunity to play a role both in the governance of your municipality through IDP meetings and public meetings convened by councillors, but also at the provincial level. This platform is one of the platforms that as the legislature, instructed by the law, that we have created to make sure that you participate in the life of this government. But also, we also have responsibility to work with other organs of the state. That's why today we have the IEC, which is independent from us, independent from the government. Abai karabeli hu ndate lisufi, by independent. They must make sure that elections are run freely and fairly. But we work with them as part of our mandate. We also work with departments. That's why really SASA, Social Development, Department of Justice, Human Settlement, and other departments that we work with to make sure that we give you proper service. So last year, 500 senior citizens on the 18th of October met. You deliberated and decisions were taken. We committed that having taken those decisions, it will be important that the following year, we don't just have another parliament where you're going to take other decisions again, without getting a report on what happened to the decisions that you took last year. So this is how, going forward, we're going to run these parliaments. 1 year, you discuss topics, you resolve. The following year, you get feedback. So this year, the purpose of us meeting here is to get responses and feedback on resolutions that were adopted last year. So ribisitse the relevant departments. Ikona social development ba ready ukuzona update ngezinto esanquma ngazo kulonyaka odlulile. Human settlement nabo bakhona bazophana ngezimpendulo ngalokho esinqumo ngakho enyakeni odlulile. Ribisise hape li Department of Justice le bona ba tlo fana ka dikarabo le feedback o ya ka di rights tsa lona, your protection and access to justice for the elderly. Lastly, but also the most important department, South African Social Security Agency, SASSA. Ke yone bohlokwa hola ke re ena. E bohlokwa le rena re ya moo. Ntse ke atumela pensioning ntse ke ba shebela ke re ke tlo ba customer bona soon lin. Ke yone bohlokwa hele bona ba tlo fana ka responses. So this is our commitment. This shows that as legislature, we take our mandate seriously. As you voted last year, we have a duty, a responsibility to make sure that we create space for citizens to participate, that we work with other institutions, we collaborate with them, and that we remain accountable. Ndate Dr. Tshwane, Eleng Chairperson, your portfolio committee, is going to join us later because he's attending another meeting now. He has, as the chairperson of portfolio committee of social development, for the whole year, he's been working hard with the committee to hold the Department of Social Development accountable to make sure that the decisions that you took last year are implemented. So he has been driving that program of making sure that ba respond. So ngithi ngithathe leli thuba leli ukuthi nginibonge ukuthi nivukile namhlanje neza nazoba nathi kuluthuku namhlanje kulenyanga le emva kwenyaka sahlangana. Ngithi nginibonge njengabantu abadala ngesikhathi senu enisithathile. Ngicabanga ukuthi namhlanje we are going to benefit from your wisdom. Where we have not done well, we will get your views and your advice so that we make Gauteng a better province. May the discussions today be profitable, be productive, and may this meeting be good for all of us. Namkelekile, ngiyabonga.
Let's give Honorable Kunene a round of applause to show ukuthi nizwile what he was saying. Okay. I think now we are all settled. We know ukuthi sizoyenzani la. We know what is going to happen here. And most of us, we knew that we are coming to our own parliament. Namhlanje, ne? And maybe abanye benicabanga ukuthi niyongena kwelinye room angaze linamafestera njani eparlamenteni, yiparlamente le. Because uma eqala udeclare ukuthi le ndawo le already it's parliament. Meaning that ukuthi nasila harilimo we are going to treat this place as parliament because it's declared. And if we listen to what he was saying, is the feedback that we are bringing from our regions. You remember we had meetings at our regions, and you were elected to come here and represent all elderly people who are from where you come from. So whatever we are going to hear and listen today, we must be able to tell other elders and tell them exactly what was said. Noma uphume kancane mara ungaphumi namanga. Uphume with what is exactly was meant in this, so that we help all elderly people, not people, elderly who are in clubs only. Every elderly person of South Africa is represented by you in this parliament. So I'm pleading with you, let's listen to what people are saying. No chat in between people speaking, because you disturb the other person who wants to listen. What you don't understand, you put down, because now we are bringing the feedback, the resolutions and everything, so that when we go out there, we become the elderly of South Africa, who understand exactly why we are in parliament. It's an opportunity that is given to us. So I was asking that, let's make our program to be nice, let's listen. We are not here to come, if nizwe kahle I-purpose, asisalethi ukuthi sisasa uphi, imali incane, not today. Today we're talking resolutions, angithi? We talked about them in our regions, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's only stop, but I want you to let you, ugogo sekaphakamisa or umkhulu sekathi, nasasa ayatsena last month. Ne? Akere kache kusezwana ne? Sise parliament, sibogogo abase parliament, sizolalela imithetho ukuthi nase isiwa ku premier izinto thina esikhulume ngazo. Okay? Fine. I'm going to ask Umama Honorable Daina Mola Atlorirela the importance of registration and voting. Thank you. Siyashaya izandla eParliament. Lemogolokotwana.
Thank you very much, Program Director, Deputy Chair, and the leadership at large. Bogolo segolo, lona baeng ba rona, lona batswadi ba lona, lona bagolo ba rona. Dumelang. Ke a gana. Sanibonani. I thought you could do better. Abusheni. You saw my cancer. As the program director has already indicated, my name is Diana Mola, and I am from the IEC South Africa. And I'm purposely emphasizing South Africa because Rona as the IEC, re hailwe ka molao wa rona o moholo o re bitsang gore is the supreme law. And molao ono no ke molao ona. Only constitution ya rona. Rona as the IEC, re tsamaya, ibile re etsa hore dikgetho di be teng mo South Africa, because if there can never be an election, that would be suggestive of harna government at all. Hane re bitswa mo as the IEC, we requested that we should come and talk about the importance of voting, of registering and voting. And looking at yourselves, ngibona batho ba baholo, ngibona abantu abadala laba, uma sikhuluma nge-democracy, kahle, you are better positioned to tell us about democracy. Yini enazi nine experience ya before 1994, yini obokuqala bokuthi uma kuzalwa i-democracy yethu la South Africa, kwaba yini qala? Enenaba kula makhula wana oyinyoka nenza sure ukuthi le democracy yethu namhlanje isaphila. Kodwa ke ngesintu uma abantu bebizwa, when you invite people to come and be part of you in celebration of whatever, uma abantu babizwa hore hey itlang ka botho re a re boele ko bathong bao e be re leboha. Ke botho bo le rona jaka the IEC South Africa ra leboga South Africans, ra le leboga batho ba bagolo hore up to this date you are still running the race in having to make sure that this democracy of us is forever strengthened. Siyabonga. I indicated hore we are established in terms of the constitution, yes. If we shebella ko constitution ya rona ko chapter 9, you'll get to see that indeed, IEC South Africa is also indicated mono. And Rona, together with other commissions, we have a constitutional mandate. Rena le molao, hona le ntho e re tlamehile hore re etse, re sena maikgethelo, ebile ho sena motho o mong o ka e etsang, empa ne e le rona fela as the IEC. Molao ono, o re fiwang ke constitution e, ore lona the IEC South Africa, you have to make sure that there are elections mo South Africa. Because batho ba rona ba re leadang ba re ba hlopileng, ba fiwa term ya 5 years. Yan ha ba filwe monyetla, ha ba filwe a term for them to be our representatives, as in our national as well as our provincial assemblies. But after 5 years, IEC South Africa, South Africans happy, Baba di kgetong. Happy, that applies with our local government elections. Dibana from diba for 5 years. If you compare national and provincial to national and provincial, give 5 years. Local government to local government, give 5 years. Yano, constitution ebe ere lona the IEC ha lentse hore batho bano ba ngodisa ho register ba ngodisa hore they should come and vote. You have to make sure that the very elections that people are going to be participating on by fewer chone di be free and fair. Let's assure hore nobody is intimidated, nobody is forced hore a votele eng aske a votela eng. Nobody is threatened in having to participate in those elections, but a South African citizen then votes ka thato ya hae ka kgetho ya hae. Akere. Ere, ibile because you are not only interacting with the voters, there are people that have got to contest. Akere. We cannot begin to talk about voting when there are no contenders. Ebe ere. Then South African IEC, you have to make sure there are political parties that are registered with yourselves. So that then, when the voters come in, then they know who are the contenders, then they're able to take and make informed decision in having to choose their politicians and independents. Le bona, we need to treat them freely and fairly. Deputy Tshwane Abua will say, IEC is impartial. We are not government. Rona as the IEC, we work together with all the political parties. We work together with the registered independent candidates. Batla beba ikemiseditse hore batla ho tlo contesta election aids. And hari bua ka fairness ya teng, re molao ore a re tse sure hore kaofela ha bona. There is no intimidation. They are afforded nako. They are afforded a chance hore they should campaign, they should sell themselves. They are affording you, by the way, when they campaign, they are actually giving you an opportunity as a voter hore o kgone ho compare, o kgone ho tlhalohanya ere ka tsatsi la dikgetho e be so tseba ukuthi manje njengoba ngiyovota ngiyovotela bani. Asinga bahlukumesini ithi mabaphuma nje wonke amaphathi nje mabaphuma nje bayo campaigner mabaphuma bafaka ama posters wabo siyacela kini nabantu abadala ukuthi siceleleni kulaba kakhulu abancane ukuthi abamoshi izinto ezibekiwe ama parties nama independent candidates ngoba labo bantu kubeke lawa ama posters ukuthi nihlale nikhumbula ukuthi konjwa ubani nobani ozobe egijima for that election that will be taking place at that point in time. Why is it important for us to vote? Maybe, let me even start by what informs registration. Le register le kaofela. Mara ke a belaela hore maybe we do understand exactly hore why did you go and register? Nako engwe re a fela hore ra register a lo register, then re a ra vote re lo vote, mara nako engwe e be re sa tlhalohanya hantle hore what is the importance therefore? Ho register ha rona for starters, it is informed by this book. This is our supreme law, right? Ha re shebella chapter ya pele ya constitution ya rona, ke the founding provision, ke foundation ya constitution ya rona. Ha ke no bua ka tsona kaofela tse mo section 1 ya yona, empa ne ke tla kgetha fela e tsamaisanang le ho register ha rona, e tsamaisanang le dikgetho, e tsamaisanang le hore hobaneng re bana le di-party kaofela di ntse di tla di register or di contest, and le ona hobaneng re tshwanetse hore process eo e etsahale, and e tshwanetse gore e etse e bonwa ke everyone, re etse openly, and re tshwanetse gore re nke sure hore rona as the IEC, as the custodian, we take responsibility and we remain accountable in terms of the outcomes tsa di results tseno, because constitution e re ha ba fetsa ho vote, the IEC announce the results. And it even says, you are not just going to be sitting out there without having to let South Africa know or exactly who in, because wherever the voters are, they want to know, because how voter, now voted o win constitutional ere tsebisa batho he e be re within 7 days, but this brilliant and beautiful commission of yours, which is the IEC, jaka constitution ere 7 days, rona within 3-4 days re tla be setse re le tsebisitse. Why? Because ha re batle hore ho qinna ho bile le dintwa mona jaka re tlhole re bona mafatsheng a mang. Section 1 ya rona ya constitution, ke tlo shebella subsection D. E bua ka universal adult suffrage. That's the first part. And this basically are the values and the founding statements tsa rona in terms of constitution ya rona. Universal adult suffrage e tsamaisana le dijara tsa batho. And it actually leads us back to a point of registering gore hobaneng why abantu ba se South Africa ba fanele ukuthi ba register before ba vote. Universal adult suffrage ikhuluma ngeminyaka yabantu, and ngokuya ngeencwadi zethu electoral act yethu thina ke bese umthetho uthikiti nina ayisivumelana abantu ba register mabana 16 years makuwa ma South Africans bana ma ID document, whether it's a smart ID or it's a green barcoded ID or even the TIC engezwa yi Department of Home Affairs. O register ana 16 years asiba khipheni abantwana bethu emakhaya. Laba base basondela ukuthi banza bo grade 11 grade 12 asibaduduleni bayo register ngoba bazosebana nama IDs. Kodwa ke bese ibuye ithi u voter uma una 18 years and above. And these are our South Africans again, and these are the people that are having ama ID documents that have already nkhulume ngazo. Bese iqhubeka futhi incwadi yethu ngokuya ngokubhalo kwethu kwe-constitution yethu. Uthi ikhuluma nge-National Common Voters Roll. I-National Common Voters Roll yileya list yabonke labantu laba ababhalisiwe. I-voters roll yilist yabantu ukuthi ba-eligible to vote. Yilabantu laba ngikhuluma ngabo ukuthi manje uregisterile ne-16 years uzohlala kwi-segment engekho engavumelanga abantu ukuthi bavote mara igama lakho lihlala kwi-voters roll. Kodwa ma 18 years and above, then uzobe usohlezi esayidini verified portion of the voters roll. And leyo voters roll yiyo ezositshela kahle ukuthi ubani nobani abaregisterile ukuthi bavote. Why? Because we have the responsibility of having to make sure ukuthi ama ballot paper alungele wonke umuntu. We have the responsibility of having to make sure ukuthi abantu bayazi ukuthi i-stations zabo zikuphi, bantu abadala siceleleni ngoba nina ni special ngizonitshela ukuthi nina futhi ningazihluphi ngokuthi ninokugijimela i-station sisebenzisa i-system yama special votes and please use that system because it's a provision enzelwe nina kodwa kulabo abafanele ukuthi baye e-station asibakhuthaze ukuthi asivele siye kuphi so vote noma kukuphi ngoba uregister ngokuya ngeaddress ethize orifile nyona address enu ya hao iya re bontsha hore ho ya ka pleke o dulang ho yona station se tshwanetse hore ebe station surfing so tshwanetse lo register ka sona lo vota ko sona and then ebetsolla ere of course we have regular elections. I've already spoken to elections having to take place every 5 years, and it talks about a multi-party system of democratic government. That's why sinama party lawa azo contesta ukuthi sikhona siwakhethe, and phezu kwaloko sifanele si ensure ukuthi labo bantu bakhona ukuthi babe ne-freeness ukuthi ba-conteste kuwo bahlale ba-registera nathi ukuthi bakhona ukuthi sikhona sibakhethe ngaleyo ndlela leyo. And omunye umbuzo uba ngokuthi si-registera kuphi? Si-registera ema-ofisini yo-IEC. We are predominantly accommodated ema-local offices latina sibhadala khona ama-rent wethu, sibhadala ama-electricity, ikhona i-office ye-IEC, iyakhona ukhulume nabo. Si-registera uma sivule i-station zonke for registration before an election siba ne-registration siyacela ukuthi asambe nokulunguza nje solunguza ukuthi amagama wethu a-right ama-ID wethu a-right ibongo zethu zi-right futhi siyayenza nale registration online. Ithi ngiphuthume-ke ukuthi ngikhulume ngokuthi why kubaluleke kanjani ukuthi-ke umuntu avote. Kubalulekile ngoba the Constitution, the Bill of Rights provides ukuthi thina njengoba sibone i-democracy entsha siyo voter. Akusena that segregation ukuthi cha kuvota abobani akusavote abobani. Asiphumene ngamanamba sibakhuthaze futhi. Bese iyachubeka futhi ithi yes it is important because you can, and I'm making reference to everyone given the right, especially when the person is registered. But also it speaks to us, you know, having to make sure that we strengthen our constitutional democracy. Ngoba, if we don't have a government, nobody will show interest in us. Other countries won't take us any serious. They won't even have that keenness in having to make sure that they invest in us as a country. And again, it is because it's your money. Imali yenu, money tenga izinto bazali, sibhadala i-tax angithi. And out of those taxes, those tax monies, niyakhona ukuthi nisize thina as i-IEC ukuthi si-existe, niyakhona ukuthi nisize ngemali zenu ukuthi senze ukuthi wonke umuntu avote. And into ebaluleke kakhulu it relates to the importance of having to vote, ukuthi our democracy needs you. Our democracy needs all the South Africans. Siyacela ukuthi emakhaya njengabantu abadala asikhulumeni nabo abantwana bethu ukuthi amabaphume in numbers. You have run the race. At some point they will need to take the baton. Mabathathe le baton mabagijime ngayo ukuthi nina njengoba nisakhele lempilo sesiyiphila namhlanje nabo bathathe irresponsibility ukuthi baba in charge and they continue with the race so as to make sure ukuthi they cater for the generations to come. And that is our democratic responsibility. But most importantly, let them participate in election, encourage them. And I'm mostly making reference to them, as in especially youth yethu, ngoba nina iresi yenu kakhulu nigijimile and nisayigijima, that's why besinibonga njalo. And futhi sibakhumbuze ukuthi they need to but enze impact in terms of policy making. But over and above that, after they've voted, they must take the responsibility of having to make sure that they don't just put the ballots a boxini, but bazi ukuthi i-contract yokuthi bazosebenzisana nalabo babakhethile. Mabasebenzisana nabo, then they have to hold them accountable. But you don't just hold a person accountable, you also become part of the game. Because at the end of it all, it's not about them and us, but it's about all of us in South Africa. Please be reminded in conclusion, let us all be reminded, and let us also remind the rest of them, Guti, It is in our hands. And this democracy belongs to us. It therefore becomes our responsibility in having to make sure that we make it stronger and we make it work for all of us, today and the years to come, and for the rest of those that are to follow. Thank you very much.
Let's give her again a round of applause. Thank you very much, Honorable Taina Mole. As Ngshizo, I said, let's listen carefully and take the right messages there. Don't go back and say, but isi vote E. They didn't say that. But we have a right to vote. And we have a right to encourage our children to vote. And we have to encourage other people to go and vote because it's our democracy. Angithi? Abasho ukuthi in. And with elderly, the act also says elderly programs esikuzo are apolitical. Awuna clap because nina nile group. Umabanye ro voter and ro votela so. No. It's an individual choice. Ne? So let's take the right messages back home. I think they'll be doing more of those education in the communities towards isikhathi samalu. Let's encourage gogos and mkulus and other people to attend those sessions so that they are informed. Ne? Let's go back home and tell people about the importance of voting. Because we are trying to move with time, so ninga mangali abanye sengzophakama. Now we're getting into the reason why we are here with the resolutions that were taken from the 3 topics that we had last year when we met in the previous parliament. So the first one will be a commission in housing laws and title deed process in the municipalities. And then we are going to present Honorable Mpitseng Tlosiza to give us the resolutions.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. With all protocol observed, I thank you, Madam Speaker, to give me this opportunity to be able to present to our elderlies of the earth, because we are elderlies by grace. So we are the elderlies of God by grace. The ones that we are presenting to are the elderlies by position. Getting right into our resolutions, Madam Speaker, we realize that the Housing Commission has got a plethora of challenges and a long list thereof. And we have seen that a lot of the challenges last week when we were gathered together and given to be able to deal with this, we realized that a lot of these challenges, especially in housing, has not been resolved. We looked into our challenges to say the elderly person sector Commission on Housing declared the following resolutions to the attention of the Gauteng Office of the Premier to consider amending house laws that will include a provision that says elderly persons must be considered stakeholders in housing development, ownership, and allocation. When we looked into this, we said these laws are not applicable to all the elderlies. Some are homeowners and others are not. Therefore, we indicated if this is done, we are not aware of that. To enforce the Older Persons Act consequences to those that are abusing the elderly persons, the government must curb corruption in the application and allocation of houses. We are saying if it is done, we want you to testify that corruption, because corruption is still on the rise. Consider fostering relationships with the Legal Aid Board to prioritize issues of housing for the elderly people and become efficient and effective. We aren't aware this is done, therefore we are saying it is not done unless you prove to us. 3.2, we say through the Standing Committee of Petitions must be efficient and effective in addressing challenges of houses for the elderly. We are saying we aren't aware whether this is taking place. 3.3, we say hold road shows, awareness campaigns for the elderly to acquire more knowledge about their RDP houses and related matters. The mechanism that can be used by the department to create this awareness in old age homes and elderly centers, television, radio stations, and in addition, the department to collaborate with legal aid local councillors in conducting workshops on housing processes. Further, the department should work with the Gauteng Department of Social Development to ensure that they extend the elder people's education and empowerment on housing and related matters to rural areas. We said this has not been happening. Consider meeting elderly persons halfway in terms of the paying of cost of transfer duties. New build houses like RDP does not need a transfer cost, as we have seen. There's only some conditions attached to houses that one acquires as second or third ownership require transfer costs. We are not aware that this is taking place. We have said consider the suggestions that elderly persons pay the standard flat rate of 100 rand for water, sanitation and waste removal, since they depend on the government grant of then it was 2,100, which only meets their needs. The standard flat rates we realized apply to some people and not other people, and some areas and not other areas. And some are paying the flat rate as little as 30 or 50 rands. We need to understand why. Consider scrapping the household of elderly persons' rates and taxes that are in areas. We have seen that at Ridgeville and Mamelodi, some people, this is taking place, but this does not apply to all. We also need to know why it does not apply to all. We are requesting to cease the practice of foreign nationals owning RDPs whilst elder persons live in shacks. Consequently, elderly persons living in shacks and mud houses must be prioritized for RDP. There is no consequence management in government and no law enforcement applied in ensuring that those involved in the housing corruption are apprehended. We are saying this is still in prevalence. Through the MEC, responsible must be accessible and consult with communities to explain the whereabouts of RDP houses due to the elderly persons. This is not yet, the MEC is not accessible, as we have seen, as we have observed. We are saying allocate apartments that are low level for elderly persons, not in the upper level for safety reasons. Older persons are still living in upper houses. Lower levels are assigned to the younger ones. We are saying ensure that in the indigent policy, title deeds are written in the names of elderly partners so that elderly partners in cases where the spouses have passed on. The deeds are written in names of elderly life partners so that when they pass on, their children can easily inherit them. This is not taking place. We are finding challenges in the situation. Provide a presentation on how they are fast-tracking issuing of houses to elderly persons. We don't see anything taking place here. Reconsider unless that is answered in the document that we have given. We have been given a short time, so we couldn't see the responses to that. So I'm reading from what we are having here as our resolutions of last year. Reconsider elderly persons signing letters of acknowledgement of debts from municipalities, They should stop forcing and harassing elderly persons. This is still taking place. People are still forced, elders are still. Yes. When we add, we must do that. We can add and talk to it. Yeah, I think we're not clarify. Thank you. Sorry, I was disturbed. We are saying reconsider switching off the electricity of homes owned by elderly persons as this poses safety and health risk. We are saying the switching on off of electricity is still taking place, except where there are community watchdogs, like in Atteridgeville, there is a association called LASCA. So it's watching that those that are switching off lights should not do that. Ensure that elderly persons should not be charged for electricity on water meters that are not read. Estimates are still taking place. Water meters are not read consistently. Fast track the issuing of title deeds to the elderly person. The pace and process is extremely slow, if ever taking place. Awareness of knowing the processes is important for the elderly. When allocating houses, priority should be given to people who applied. For example, in 1996, there is still a backlog, and to the children of those who died but had applied prior to their death, like in 1994. The children are still awaiting the RDP houses dating back to 1994. And the orphans are also awaiting their parents' houses. Assist pensioners' flats to have residential communities. We said in this instance, because we are individuals, we are not able to talk, but because we represent the elderly, we expect that to be done. Ensure that elderly persons who applied for housing should be allocated houses within their temporary housing radius, not attended to unless proof is provided. Consider that all elderly persons who applied for indigenous policy must be given 100 units of electricity for free, and all those indigent policies that have been withdrawn must be reinstated. Not equally applied. Some elders enjoy the favor of councillors more than others. POP renewal should not be stopped and should continue until their death. Protect elderly persons whose life partners have passed and can stay in the pensioners' flat and continue to own the houses. This cruel action is still continuing in pensioners' apartments. Gauteng Department of Social Development to consider increasing SASSA grants to cover the expenses such as municipality bills and buying groceries. A suggestion was made that we requested 3,500 to be able to meet the elderly's cost. And we also requested that consider payment of SASSA grant to be on the 1st of every month as it was done. 9 months down the line, it is not yet done. We said we request a conducting of a door-to-door inspection on elderly persons to have those who have medical conditions. There's need to hire more caregivers to facilitate this process because we are still encountering problems with such elderlies. To provide fire extinguishers for elderly persons. Furthermore, there must be educational awareness campaigns rolled out regarding the same. I think none is done on this one. assist all elderly persons with food parcels. It must assist elderly persons to write letters for required sponsorship. No distribution is done for groceries to elderlies. And when distribution is done of groceries, it was indicated that it is actually the councillors that are taking the groceries and giving them to their relatives and to their families. Gauteng Department of Safety to consider providing elderly persons with 24/7 security. As crime is too high, the government must conduct an inspection on the lifts of apartments. We will hear from the resolutions and responses that we are given as to what has been done. We are having challenges with police stations, elderly desk to accelerate service delivery to the sector. Police stations have not yet established this, and where this has been established, it is not utilized. And in addition to hospitals, staff must attend to elderly promptly on arrival than preferring pregnant young children. And at least an elderly should be allowed to have a company of one member in hospital casualties as assistance, because we are barred from entering with the sick into casualties. And the elderly are not able to answer for themselves, and some of them, when their names are called, they cannot hear because of their hard of hearing. And ladies and gentlemen, finally, I am saying we around here, when you look at all of us, are taking care of the elderly out there. Charity begins at home. We are the ones to be taken care of first, so that the elderly out there should be seeing that we are taken care of, and so that we should be given energy and strength to run, to say we are taken care of, and we will be able to take care of the elderly. The word of God says, when you take care of the elderly and the orphans, you will receive and inherit the kingdom of heaven. Amen.
Abogogo ke labo. Thank you very much. You know, elderly people, I love them. When they speak from the heart. And it's not that when we stood up, it's only that, you remember, we're reading commissions, others are having the papers, ne? And some of the things were discussed. So I was just making sure everybody follows it, because all the people who attended the report back have the same copies, so that we don't get lost, ne? So don't think, yeah, it's only that I understand older persons very much, too much. Bokoko, you give them to do something, they do the best. They go in, and then they bring it, ne? But I hope nonken is willing it. What has been read here is what is going to be given to the Premier's office. Those were the commissions and the resolutions that we took after discussions. That was on the commission housing laws for elderly citizens. We'll call the next commission, Honorable Simon Petla. He will be doing the summary of the commission on eviction laws and abuse of elderly people. Ukhishwa kwabantu abadala ezindlini zabo bayisiwe ngaphandle. Bantwana ba own bakama building baqashise bangakuphi nemali ye rent. Something like that, if maybe you don't understand what evictions are. Over to you, Mr. Matsogo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Guests that are here, members from SASSA, the Department of Social Development, and the leadership of Gauteng Older Persons Forum. Mrs. Petla, you are acknowledged. When we met last year as a commission under evictions law and abuse of elderly persons, we came up with resolutions that I'm going to read out to you as they are. You'll see if you've got the report, it's on Commission Resolutions number 3. The Elderly Persons Sector Parliament 2024 Commission on Eviction Laws and Abuse of Elderly Persons declared the following resolutions for the attention of the Gauteng Office of the Premier. This we are saying to the Office of the Premier to assist in communicating the importance of the Master of the High Court when coming to evictions and should consider conducting awareness, raising drives to educate elderly persons. 3.3 says, collaborate with municipalities in order to consider revisiting the cost of rates, taxes, and services. On 3.4, we are saying the Gauteng Department of Social Development to reconsider requirements for participation in the Elder Persons Program to be effective from the age of 60 years upwards without inquiring about the grant money left in their accounts. The next point, the Department of Social Development and Community Safety should work together to ensure that social workers are always visible and work with SAPs to curb and notice corrupt behavior in its early stages. To develop a wide information campaign to advise elderly people to draft their wills, which can help them to avoid confusion and curb any form of corruption. Now we are saying to the Gauteng Department of Housing Settlements, Human Settlements, to consider changing legislation around the safekeeping of title deeds without charges by the bank. Consider developing title deeds that are similar to electronic IDs that can be scanned. Consider working with communities in areas where there are no title deeds, yet homes are occupied, via election of a committee that will liaise directly with the government to avoid unnecessary evictions. To consider amending the lodger permit and to ensure that title deeds include all siblings to avoid abuse and entitlement. The Gauteng Department of Housing, Social Development, Health and Wellness and Community Safety to collaborate to reduce the high percentage of elderly persons who are abused by their children emotionally, financially, and rape, which occur as well when they demand their houses. The Gauteng Department of Housing, Social Development, Health and Wellness and Community Safety to collaborate to ensure that old age homes and caregivers are caring, promote hygiene, ensure elders exercise, food is healthy, and reasonable attention is given to the elderly, for example, guiding with medication. To the Gauteng Community Safety, we are saying to bring justice by ensuring the arrest of false or corrupt lawyers who play a role in illegal evictions of elderly persons. And finally, to improve their policing by ensuring that officials who are found to be involved in any illegal evictions are brought to the justice system. I thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much. We heard, ne? It's most of the things that you said, isn't it? Yes. So that will be also presented. And then we go to the last one, the executive summary of the commission, importance of drafting will with elderly people. And I'm sure a lot of you, very sure, attended that free will week, ne? And made free wills for yourselves because it was free. And DSD made sure that we all attend. So I just hope a lot of you went there and did good. We'll be asking Honorable Makatu to do the presentation. Thank you.
Good morning, abantu abadala. And how are you? I am here to do the resolution of drafting a will. And this nowadays, if you watch TV, at 157 Moja Love, Kugiti, Ekaya, and Makam, then you'll feel that will is very important. Let me greet all the stakeholders that are with us here today. With us here today to come and help us to understand the eviction, to understand the will and all that they've been presented. So will is very important, and the government is looking after Abu Gogo because not long on the 6th of October, the Department of Justice, they tried to help us to avoid abantwana bomuntu bazolwela indlu at our age. So I'm going to read the resolutions. Commission resolution. The Elder Persons Sector Parliament 2024 Commission on Importance of Drafting a Will with Elderly Persons declare the following resolutions for the attention of the Gauteng Office of the Premier. 4.1, the Office of the Premier to respond to the recommendation of establishing a help desk for elderly persons. Consider with care appointing trained functionaries, in brackets officials, to address challenges experienced in drafting of a will and understanding of escalation processes where there is a dissatisfaction. 4.1.3, consider ways in which identified paralegal entities and services can assist elderly persons with drafting of their will free of charge. Consider developing a memorandum of agreement with banks in helping elderly persons with the services of drafting of will without charging them at the same rate as younger age groups. 4.2, the Gauteng Department of Social Development to develop a plan which will include the legal and justice system to align elders with processes that must be undertaken through awareness campaigns. To consider plans to collaborate with and the legal and justice system by being visible on a continuous basis in malls. SASSA pension payout centers and in communities to help elderly persons address the gap identified in drafting of a will. Abantu abadala masihambeni so drafta ama will ukuthi we must secure our properties when we are no longer in life ukuthi abazukulwana nabantwana bethu bangalahlelwe ngaphandle abomkleveng, because they are busy, you know, checking in all areas ukuthi la kuhlala bani la and all that. So please, abantu abadala will is going to help us. And I'm happy because the time that on the 6th, the Department of Justice advised abantu abadala if they don't know where can they keep their will, they advise abantu abadala uti go and talk to amasonto wenu nikhulume nabafundisi, even though we'll ask them to educate the abafundisi ukuthi if I want to keep my will esontweni, what steps must I take? And then nomfundisi naye abe aware ukuthi i-Department of Justice iya advise abantu abadala ukuthi they can keep their wills emasontweni. And then a bank nakhona, if okay, nase bank bathi singawabeka e bank because sibeka imali zethu, we are banking our monies njengabantu abadala, isente sitholayo we take it to the bank ukuthi we can go and ask the bank saying that I'm your client, please can you keep this will for me? So that is the advice that the Department of Justice gave abogogo ukuthi after drafting the will, where can they keep their will? Thank you very much.
Matsoho gape. It's so nice to work with Gogos. It's like Nyaba Stosha, ne? I don't. You know, older persons, we're reading resolutions, but there is, yabon, ungathi ngafaga, which is correct, sigu parliament, but according to parliament, you bring what you have. Ezinye zikhulunyiwe ne? So we know how to handle people, langit. Asixabani nabo kumnandi bayakhuluma, but ezinye zazo are true things. That's why I leave them to speak. Ne? Parliament we learn every year. Next year sizoyishaya kahle sesi nathi bo honorable labasibashaya kahle. Siyakhohlwa sithi meste. So thank you very much, commissioners. These are the commissions that are going to be presented to the MEC, to the Premier. So these are the things that we discussed and people have sent. So siya understand that this is really, ne? And then I will also ask the group legislature, those people who were not in these meetings before, they should get those copies so that at least they have an idea what was sent when they're talking to their people. Because some of you, maybe you just came, but we never attended those meetings before. But because we are here, this is what we presented. And what we presented, we included everybody who's an elder in South Africa, from the regions Lesbe Siguzo. Thank you very much. Now we're getting to other stakeholders. And for us to Sbambi Skati Setu, they are given 10 minutes. So when they come, it's 10 minutes per speaker, so that we keep our time, so that at least by 2 o'clock we are all out of this place. Niyangivumela ngithi? Njengomphathi wabogogo nabomkhulu angithi? Yes, because khona manje abanye bazosuke bathi shukela, whereas the breakfast was given. Ishukela la yayihlale kula 5 no 6 ingakhuphuki. Ngoba sikhuluma izinto ezikhuphukisa ishukela la. Sikhuluma izindaba zethu ezimnandi izindithi. Parliamentarians, niyazizwa, niwathatha content naniphuma la nithi benguparlament. But ufika ukhuluma indaba zeparlament, na ufika ekhaya ungakhuluma amanga. Ne, thank you very much. Now we're getting following speakers. Sizocela the responses from the Department of Social Development by Miss Daisy Mudisakeng. Matsoho, abaphathi bethu ke lapha.
Thank you, my program director. Gape madume ha a fele. So le nna ke a le dumedisa kaofela. Members of legislature, ke acknowledge as well representatives from the Premier's office who are here. Bonkgono ba forum, Gauteng Older Persons Forum and different regional forums. Ke a le dumedisa kaofela and all our stakeholders that are in this house today. Ke a le leboga. I'm standing here on behalf of the Gauteng Department of Social Development, ne? Who is the custodian of older persons. Akere bagolo. Okay, from the DSD side, we have received the resolutions. All the speakers, tse di setseng di fetile mo. Ba buile whatever their resolutions are and the responses tse ba nang le tsona. So I'm standing here to give the side of the Department of Social Development. Resolution number 1, reconsider the requirements for participation in the Elder Persons Program to be effective from the age of 60 years upwards without inquiring their grants. Now the response from the department. The Department of Social Development implements services to older persons in line with the Older Persons Act. Right? Yes, ke yona e re guidang le gore ga re re older persons, who is the older person? Anyone who's above the age of 60 years. Yes, those are our older persons by e leng gore we are rendering services to them. So we do not, so long as you are over 60 years, we do not discriminate against you in terms of getting services. And then resolution number 2, it talks to the Department of Social Development and Department of Community Safety, that the Petla touched on it, saying we must work together to ensure that social workers are always visible and work with SAPs to curb the corruption behavior in its early stages. I believe the social workers are there, la ba bona in the communities. Bateng, ke a leboga. So as social development, we do have satellite offices in all the local areas. Ko le dulang ko teng akere, to make access, whatever services tse le di tlhokang di be haufi le lona akere. So what this community satellite offices di etsetsa gore le be haufi, every older person go nne le officinyana haufinyana e leng gore whenever you need services, you'll be able to reach it without o palame taxi e tlo tsamaya nako e telele, sometimes gogo ga ana le tšhelete ya o patala taxi akere. So please bonkgono, make sure gore in all the areas tse di dulang ko tsona, you identify the offices that the social workers tse leng gore they are nearby in your areas. Ne? Before usuga Winterfeld or Bronkhorstspruit o ya officing ko Tshwane, please make sure gore o checkile the offices around gore ba kgone ba go fe thuso. Ne? And then in terms of point number 2, the other response says we also, older persons also have older persons desk, go to police stations. I agree the resolution says we must work with South African police services. So in some areas, in some regions, those police stations, they do have the desk here, older persons. Whenever you've got a problem, you no longer go to the church office, you just go office whereby you can get services in your own corner rather than in a public space, go church office. Ne? Even though when he presents here, in some areas, or even if they are not yet functional. Ne? So I think as all the stakeholders that are here, the Premier's office, the social development, after here we'll make sure when we go back to check with the South African Police Services, those desks, they are available and functional. Where they are not functional, then they will have to make sure that they are available for the services. But if they are there, please make sure you make utilize of them. Another resolution says it's widely educated to make older persons aware of their rights, which include writing a will. This is a mandate of the Department of Justice, but with us, the Department of Department of Social Development, we also do community awareness programs again. Then sometimes when we, depending on the type of community program that we are engaging on the time, we always come, invite other stakeholders to be part of us, like the Department of Justice, Kidi Court again. Yeah, we also get some officials to be part of us so that they can give you relevant information, because Rona, we do not already say that information. When are they working with it, they know it, they can go deeper into it so that they can give you good advice as needed by you. In terms of the rights of older persons as well, most of our residential facilities, Lona, you still call them old age homes, ne? Rona, okay, the new term is residential facilities. And then we also have community-based care and support services, which is our luncheon clubs, the service centers, they are there in the communities again. All of them, we regularly, when we have procured promotional material, we do print the rights of older persons, and then we distribute to all those facilities, the residential facilities as well as community-based care. So if perhaps maybe you do not have, or the ones that we've given you, they are old, you cannot read, you are welcome to come back to our offices, contact the regional offices, and then we still have some promotional materials in our offices, so we will be able to give you. Also to the new clubs, that's coming into being as the Department of Social Development. You can link with our regional offices, and then we'll assist you with that. There's a resolution on conducting door-to-door inspections on elderly people who have medical conditions. Medical conditions is the expertise of the Department of Health. But from our side, as the Department of Social Development, some of our NPOs, we do have caregivers who are doing home-based care to older persons, but they cannot access services for active older persons. Am I right? Yes. Thank you. So those caregivers, but they are employed by the NPO sector, not the department. Ne? So they assist in identifying those older persons, they are frail, to get the services from the service centers. Ne? So they are able to identify those who have medical conditions, and then they do have very good working relationship with the local clinics. So if the behavior, they refer to the clinics so that they can get further medical attention. The other resolution talks to enforce the Older Persons Act with other Gauteng departments and have consequences for those that are abusing elderly persons. The government must curb corruption in the application and allocation of houses. Unfortunately, allocation of houses is not our expertise. It falls under the Department of Human Settlement. They'll come and respond for themselves. But from our side, as DSD, in terms of prevention of elder abuse, we are doing awareness campaigns. We're starting every year, we start at the regional office, local communities, having local awareness campaigns to elder abuse, and then they will go to the level at the provincial. Ne? If you can remember, we had our Elder Abuse Awareness Campaign, the 15th of June, that was held at Ferrienacheng. Those who have attended, ne? Were you there? Yes, that's one of the programs that we are doing when we're talking about prevention of elder abuse. And then again, I will refer to the event that was held last week, Koso Shanguve. Those of you who have attended, it was another prevention awareness that we held as the Department of Social Development together with other stakeholders, the government. Ne? Whereby last week they were honoring centenarians, which is older persons who are over 100 years of age. Ne? Yes, if an event of such magnitude is called and then we don't have older persons who are 100 and above, we do not say, because we don't have older persons who are over 100, or maybe we only have 5, therefore the event cannot go on. No, we still continue. We go back to our older persons. We check in terms of age, from the age of 60 years, or how many can we get who are over 60 years or maybe closer to the 100 years. So that we don't close you all out saying we don't have a centenarian. So the event was a very success that was held last week. So it did happen. And then going forward, another resolution is to develop a plan which will include the legal and justice system to align older persons with processes that must be undertaken through awareness campaigns. I've already spoken about awareness campaigns. Tse rona re di etsang as DSD, but here we are paired with the legal and justice system, which is the Department of Justice and Constitutional Development. I earlier indicated that whenever we are having different types of awareness, we rope in other stakeholders from the different departments so that they can babuele lona ba lefe information with regard to their services. Ne? Yeah, like the speaker earlier on here was talking about wills. Wills, drafting the wills is not our expertise, but when older person says we need services to write the wills, then we talk to the Department of Justice. Okay. Oh, my presentation is done. Thank you so much. I thought I was still going through. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. You know, when you are a program director, you can hear when a person is almost done. But Bokoko, then they want to go back. Ne? But she's not a go-go, not yet. But I could hear she's going. She said in conclusion. And then Babambari for the last time. Only 2 left. Now I'm finishing. And it's another 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Let's work with DSD and all these other stakeholders, guys, please. And the attitude that we use, let it be the good one, then you will get the services. But if we go with attitudes that are different, then that's where we don't get Batupili principles. Yeah, we go there and then the Batupili principles are not there. But sometimes our attitudes. We are not old, Tina. NgesiZulu bathi asiguganga, sikhulile. Sisho njalo Tina, sikhulile asiguganga, sikhulile. Yeah. We have wisdom, not intelligence. We are going to, remember I said 10 minutes, we are given 10 minutes. Now I'm going to ask the second one. Uzoba Mr. Zama Mavuso from responses from South African Social Security Agency, SASSA. Imali. Izandla banikazi bemali.
Mara ngiyiphathanga today. Sizakhuluma masiqede ukuthi you must give back. I've been giving, but you must give back at some point. Sizakhuluma mangiphuma. To the program director, the deputy chairperson, and my colleagues from provincial legislature, and my employer, DSD, and then also the other departments. I would like to greet you and thank you for inviting us as SASSA. I also want to greet my fellow. I think I am now close to your age, so I cannot reveal my age, but this will tell you, will give you a clear indication to say how far am I. Okay, thank you for welcoming me. As they've said to say, I'm Zama Mavuso from SASSA, and I'm with Babu Dennis Muleki from SASSA as well. We are here to deal with only one thing. There's a question that is not sitting well with almost all of you here. We're gonna try to address it. Hopefully, we'll do justice. My mother I'm from KZN anyway, from your rural areas, was born by my mother and father. They've never seen the door of a school, but they only went to attend meetings. That is where they can tell you to say, I saw the school. But they've never opened a book to say they were being taught of something. Then, my mother is 85. She's a pensioner, like most of you here. Then one day she came back to say, she went to the pay point, because the pay point was just around. She went, then she got her money, and then they gave her, because my father also had a stroke. So now when she goes to collect, she'll collect even for my father. Then it was around your 5,000 something. Then after they gave her the money, she took 300, then because she wanted to buy some things, and then left the 4.8 in her pocket somewhere. Then she went, she bought, and then she went back home. When she got home, everybody was happy, but she tried to search herself. There was no money. The first person she called was me. Do you know what happened? I had to pay that money. I'm the only one who's working at home. I had to pay because they had to buy food. Then I paid. Okay, it's fine. One day she went to a pay point again. The whole day they were sitting, hungry, never ate anything. They sat up until they were told at 5 o'clock to say the man is not coming because the van was robbed somewhere. They had to come back after 2 days, 3 days. She came back, she calls me, we don't have food. Do you know what happened? I had to pay. I said you're gonna pay back my money. Was my money paid back? No, okay, sharp. Then one day, she calls me again. Something happened. My brother has been robbed. He went to a pay point. They gave the money. He went back home. At night, abafana bafika. They said, we know you went to collect money. You have money today. Give us that money. My uncle gave the money to them. She calls my mother. Do you know what happened? I had to pay. Okay, then, that is fine. Now, when my mother heard that we are closing pay points, the first thing that she asked was, why, Mar? Why are you closing pay points? My response was, my mother, I love you. I don't want you to die because of a bullet. I don't want you to die because you were robbed and then you tried to resist and then they stabbed you. I don't want you to die because there was a stampede at a pay point, you tried to run, or the runaway car ran over you, then you died. I don't want that that to happen. I want you to be in control of your money. I want you to take decision to say, when do I use my money? Where do I use my money? How do I use my money? She looked at me and I said, I'm going to introduce you a new way of getting your money and be happy. Then the last scenario, she went to visit her sister at Mtubatuba. It was on the 10th during payment. She was not in Pongola, she was in Mtubatuba. Was she able to get her money? No. Because she had to go to Pongola for her to get her money. She called me again, can you give me 300? I want to go back home. She went back home. Fortunately, payment, they went to another paper and then she was able to go there and got her money. So why am I saying those scenarios? The question is, why am I standing here? Is to respond to the question that says, why did you close PayPoint? For me, the question should be saying, thank you for protecting us. For me, the question should be saying, thank you for taking away danger from us. Why did we close PayPoint? The scenarios that I've just mentioned, one of the reasons, it was because of your protection. E-heist, I remember at some point, the Middlelands, and then those who are coming from Esibukeng, Silver Fox, we came in the morning, the van came with cash, Ganti, the boys were inside the hall. Then they waited for the money to be offloaded. Then few minutes, there were 8 guys inside the hall and 4 guys outside the hall. They started shooting 74 bullets. Ask me, Uguti, if you are 75, 85, 90 years, then you are hearing your AK-47, everybody's running. The state of mind thereafter, what will happen with you? In Middlelands, Okoko was sleeping because the boys came, especially towards your December. In KZN, when you drive from point A to point B, you'll pray to say, God, I'm praying, Nguti, I must get to my next destination because they are carrying a lot of money. So we considered all of those things. And then one of the things that we looked at was the criminalities that is happening. You get your money, you are robbed, you don't have food. You cannot come back to SASSA and say, oh, can you pay me again? No, because we gave you your money. Those were the challenges that we looked at, and then we were like, okay, you go to Limpopo to bury somebody, then it's the 5th, you are supposed to be getting paid. You cannot, because you are in Limpopo. Those were things that makes us to say, Ukoko, wherever she is. Because remember, we are saying we are paying the right social grant to the right person at the right time and place. Njalo. So whether you are in Durban, whether you want to go to in cruise ship, you should be able to get your money in Durban. You shouldn't say, I must come back to Gauteng to get my money because I belong to Gauteng. Never. We said never, it won't happen. You should be able to save your money in your card. But before, it was not the case. Then there were deductions. You go to the pay point, boom, there is no 100 rand, or there is somebody has taken your money. So we looked at those things. And then tell us, in KZN, they robbed my mother. She was supposed to get a large amount because she used to get even my nephew's foster care. Then they will, I told her to say, you're gonna get 8,000 something. Does she know 8,000? No. Those guys will make sure that there is 20 rands somewhere. Then when they calculate Koko, Pega, they go 1, 2, 3. Now she sees a lot of 20 rands. She's like, no, my money is enough. Ganti, it was only around 1.8. They took her money. Who paid? It's me. So those things were happening mostly kuma rural areas where they know ukuthi ugogo akafundanga. Those are the things that made us to say, you know what? Let's think a better option. What is the better option now? Flexibility. You can withdraw your money anywhere. Anyway, it's you now who tells us that I want to get my money from, we ask you, you tell us. If you say I want you to pay me from this bank, amen. From me to you, from SASSA to you, no manga business. If the system says imali went to you, no manga business, you'll get it. You even receive ama SMS to say, boom, 4,000 is in, boom, 3,000 is in. Now you decide, do you go on the 3rd, do you go on the 4th, do you go on the 5th? It's up to you. Who do you send? I need you know your PIN. If Abafana comes into your house, they won't get cash. Like, as we're speaking now, if Abafana can come in and then try to rob all of us and maybe ask cash, they won't get even. Maybe they'll get 10 rand, 20 rand. Because siya swiper. You go to Pick and Pay. I took her to, not Pick and Pay, any shop. Your Pick and Pay, the retailer. I took her, we went to Pick and Pay. I said, ngicela ubheke magic. I didn't bring any cash. Then Sasha troll. Ngathi now I'm paying. Ngaswipe. Ngathi you do the same. She said, no, I'm not working. I'm like, the card can do the same. Ne? Now, she's used to that. She's used to that. She only withdraws 200 for electricity or for if maybe she owes someone, but she doesn't need a cash. You don't need a cash. Why do you need a cash? Why? Okay. Yeah. Now you can save. Because the money goes into your account, you can save your money. Uguti, how do you use it? It's up to you. But before, Tina, we wanted you to come. After 3 months, if you didn't come and you throw your money, besival. But now you can save your money anyhow. And then, what else that you can do? Yeah, you can get your money anytime. You are not actually forced. If imali, how many minutes? Oh, I'm left with 3 minutes. If you get your money on the 3rd, you are not forced to go to Maponya, to go to Uyoshali queue, longest queue ever. Then on the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, you walk as if you are going to the neighbor, that you are going to the ATM. But manje, ngay 3 all of Abokoko, 20 of you in a queue. The Nyaupe boys can see Uguti. Out of these 20 people, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, 2,000, they know Uguti. I'm rich. But if you are just walking, minding your own business, only to find Uguti, you know Uguti, the card has 3,000 in it. But if you go on the 3rd, everyone knows. As much as nothing, A15, we know we are in danger. Because they know in my street, Guti, I am getting paid on the 15. Then if Baza buys Guti, I have money. So please, make sure that you just manage how you get your money, when, where, amen. And then what else? I think those are the reasons that made us to say, you know what, be in control of your money, be in control of the movement of your money, be in control of the card that you have. ISASA will make sure that every month we give you what you deserve. Then from there, you can do whatever you want to do. Please, hambani ne kuma cruise ship boko ngale mali. Please, enjoy le mali. Amen. Ngiyabonga. Thank you, President Director. Siyabonga.
Did you hear that? Nizwile. Aksi mali ama pampas. Imali yakho. Ngiyazi abanye bogogo bazathi akazi lo. But honestly speaking, it's your money. Isote ukuthi ufunani nani uzoba muhle njengoba nibahle so. La niyabonakala ukuthi nazazi. Incane le mali ukuthi yethu sonke. Kodwa nakungeyakho at least it will close the gap. Sizocela uMathabile Shange sakafikile. Over to you. Miss Thabile Shange, Mufeni Matsoho aseza ngaphambili. Umama Shange ubuya ku Department of Human Settlements.
Good afternoon, Sanibonani, Dumelang. Greetings to Chairperson, Deputy Chairperson, all the departments that are here in attendance of this event, the colleagues, and the House at large. I'm Thabile Shange. I work for the Department of Human Settlement under the business unit sector transformation. As I'm standing in front of you, I'm here to respond to some of the issues that were tabled, and the department was requested to put together responses on those questions. Where I find it difficult to, maybe where you don't understand in terms of the response that I would have provided, there will always be that open window where you'll send more questions for clarity. But from what we have prepared as a department, I'll try to be as fast as possible to make sure that the time allocated, I cover everything. The first question that was tabled to the department, it was on the issue of title deeds. I'm sure I'm loud enough. Sometimes people, they always tell me my voice is soft. The issue of title deed, I know it's a very thorny one, and we always have issues with the title deed, especially for our elderlies, because people, that's the space they want to play around, because they know that if they hold this paper called a title deed, they have everything. So as I'm standing here, I want to advise you that as a department, we are doing everything and anything to protect you as elderlies, to make sure that your title deeds are protected. But as you are protecting that title deed, make sure that you do things rightfully so, while you are still able to do that. One of those things that you need to make sure that you do while you are still able, without anyone holding your hand, because some instances, your children, your relatives, your sisters, your brothers, your cousins, when they see that Nkgono is coughing a little bit, you can't do anything. And then they then bring the papers, they make you sign. When they bring those papers to the department, it has your signature. That paper is considered legit. So we advise you to say, to protect those title deeds, let's do things while we can. So there was a question that was tabled to say the department is advised or requested to consider changing the legislation around the safekeeping of title deed without charges by the bank. In response to that question, we then indicated that normally the private institution like your banks, they don't charge you any money to safeguard your title deed, provided you have drafted the will. As a department, we have taken to the point that we organize road shows. On the 29th, there will be another road show that we'll conduct, that will be in Eguruleni, where we educate elderlies how to make sure that you safeguard your title deed. Those road shows, we do them in collaboration with Department of Justice, because they are the custodian, and also deeds office. They will come and explain everything about the title deed. So we are saying, have a will. In your will, nominate that trusted person who will take all responsibility to make sure that your title deed is safe. And also there was a question on title deed as well, where they were saying we need to have a committee in areas where there are no title deeds, yet homes are occupied. Yes, we've seen MEC, Motara going around. I think those meetings and those events that she's conducting are addressing such title deeds where properties were built without the township establishment. And to address that, we always go back to make sure those title deeds are issued to the rightful people. In an event where you are unable to collect your title deed, always engage the department. Always engage the department to make sure that no one collects the title deed on your behalf. And there was one way, another question that was talking about amending the lodger permit to suit the condition of the elderlies. In that, then we responded by saying the lodger and residential permits are old pre-1994 instruments that were created by local council. No new documents are being produced. As per local council prescripts, a residential permit takes precedent over a lodger permit. But where no claims has a residential permit, a lodger permit becomes the next possible proxy for an entitlement. And there was another one question that was the resolution that Department of Human Settlement to ensure that title deed include all siblings to avoid abuse and entitlement. For that one, yes, we are including all siblings, but as you know that there is always good and bad in everything. Let me make an example with myself. I have 4 children. And of the 4, the 2 of them are now old. They are working, but the 2 of them, they are still young. And I don't know what the future holds for the 2 because they are still young. I can be safe with the 2 that are now working. And then what do I do with the title deed? And then I say, because I'm still alive, I want to protect this title deed, and I want to make sure that should anything happen, God decides, and then I'm no more. All of them, they are catered. And therefore, I will say the title deed should have all my children in one title deed. It's a good thing to do because you are sure that no one will decide to say, this is my house, you know what, and others that don't get to have access to the family home. But here is the problem. The department can only afford you one opportunity as part of the criteria in terms of issuing the RDPs. Once your name reflects in a title deed, I'm talking now on my 2 children who are not yet working. Once they are named now, they are reflected in a title deed. I've disadvantaged them in an event where they don't find jobs. We know our country. We are a country of high unemployment. The younger 2 they don't find jobs. Then it means once I include them in this title deed, they won't be able to benefit from the government subsidy, the RDP. So I'm saying to you, it's good to include them all. I'm not saying including all the siblings or everyone in the title deed is a bad thing. It's a good thing, but it has got the bad and the good. Because anyone within the sibling, once your name reflects on the title deed, we assume as a department that you have benefited, and yet you did not. But by virtue of your name showing in the title deed, the system kicks you out. And you'll come to the department to say, I have not received an RDP, but the response that we'll always give you will say, but your name shows that you own a property. So I thought that is good, that I need to explain that. So as you are doing this, make sure that in the space, no one is disadvantaged. As a father, as a mother, sit down with your children, explain to them. You might as well, without putting all of them in the title deed, have something drafted as part of your will to say, the property will be under this one child, the older one, but all of them, they will be part, so that they are not disadvantaged in the process. Okay, moving forward, I think that is clear. Moving forward, and then we advise that we need to hold road shows for elderly so that we empower them with knowledge in terms of RDP houses and all related matters. That is what the department is doing. Like I've indicated, that there is one event that will be in Eguruleni. I don't have all the details for the event with me now, but in those events, we always try to educate the elderlies. We bring all the departments that can share as much information as possible, including our officials in the department, to give you information in terms of the keeping of your houses. How do you make sure that no one sell your house without you knowing? And then the next one was that we must also partner with media houses, radio stations in old age homes and elderly center to create awareness. Yes, the department does have road shows and community engagement as part of what I've already alluded to. And then the collaboration with legal aid, local council in conducting workshop on housing workshop. Yes, that's one of the things that we do. In every workshop or in every information sessions that we conduct, we always make sure that we collaborate with all the departments that has information that is valuable for information. And another resolution was where more specialized legal support is required, elderly persons are referred to Legal Aid South Africa to ensure they receive appropriate legal advice and assistance. Yes, in terms of responding to that, we said yes, the department should work with the Gauteng Department of Social Development to ensure that they extend the elder people's education and empowerment on housing and related matters to rural, especially rural areas. And we are working towards that to say, if social development has some events, let's work together so that in their event, they may be talking about, whatever information that relates to social housing. But let's all come together as departments to share information. The reason that I'm here today, it's one of those, to say I need to come and represent the department. And then there was another resolution where the department was requested to consider introducing indigent initiative to extend assisting elderly people with paying costs for transfer of duties, newly built houses like RDP houses, in terms of transfer cost. In terms of the transfer cost, to respond, the transfer duty payable to SALS only apply to immovable property. The immovable property, we're talking about the house. The gazetted threshold, it's 1.2 million. So anything below 1.2 million, there's no transfer cost that is paid. Therefore, the department is exempted from paying the transfer duty to SARS owing to the valuation of targeted properties, which are RDPs. In terms of the RDPs that we allocate, the department is the one that always pay that amount. And then there was another resolution that was saying, elderly people living in shacks and mud houses must be prioritized for RGPs. Yes, the department, in line with the housing allocation, makes a provision for 10% for elder and 40% is for 1996. Okay, just to clarify this 10% and the 40%. The housing allocation states that when we build houses, I'll make an example. Let's say this year the department has planned to build 8,000 houses. I'm not saying that's what we are planning to. But in an event where the department wants to build 8,000 houses for this year, 10% of those houses are meant for elderly people. So when we start allocating, of the 8,000, we make sure that the 10%, which my calculations, if I'm doing the correct calculation, the 800 houses without doing anything will be reserved for older people. And over and above that 10%, the 800, of that 8,000, we make sure that the 40%, it prioritizes those. We're trying now to do it, to clean the database so that we don't have a lot of old people sitting in the database. And then that means now, of the 8,000, if I add 40 and 10, I have 50. Meaning what now? Then the 40% plus the 10%, then I'm taking all these houses, they go to the older people. So I'm saying the department is committing to make sure that they allocate more houses to older people. But we are always open. If you feel that you are not attended, make sure you can send us a message. You know, we are trying again to improve the system. I was engaging to another elderly from Eguruleni. Her idea was that she wants to come to the department. I said, no, you don't have to come to the department. Give me your ID and consent that you want the official, because a lot of people, they'll take your IDs, like I'm warning you again, to say don't give your IDs to everyone. But I'm an official, and I'll request my colleagues to say, Gogo is unable to walk, Gogo is sick, therefore can we make sure that we check? In the event where you are even sick, we now send out the officials to go and assist you at home to complete all the documentation, to process your application. So don't say, oh, how am I going to get? If no one in this house doesn't have a phone, no one has a grandchild who doesn't know how to use the cell phone, use your grandchildren, use your children to get information for you. And then there was another resolution where it says ensure accessibility of MEC responsible and consult with community to explain the status of RGP houses due to elderly people. I think our MEC, the current MEC is visible, is all over the province, issuing title deed and allocating houses to approved beneficiaries. And we are also, beside the MEC, as a department, we have taken that stand to say, we'll do the road shows, we'll engage with the community to make sure that everyone understands how to apply for the RDP and all that. The department, okay, I think I'm right at the end and I'm told that my time is up. The department to allocate elderly people with disability in ground level to ensure safety and accessibility. That's a very interesting one that we are working with the department to ensure that all the elderlies, not only because now the elderly is sickly, the elderly is in a wheelchair. We are trying by all means to ensure that for all new allocations, because one thing with the housing, we deal with so many things. To put the structure, you need to have a land, which is very scarce in terms of Gauteng. Reason for scarcity is because there are a lot of people in Gauteng, and yet the province, it doesn't have a lot of land. So the department now has taken the stand to say, we're building a high rise, meaning now we're building like tall, high buildings. But the resolution that the department has taken is that all houses at the ground floor will only be allocated to persons with disabilities and elderly. No elderly person will be allocated a house in first floor, second floor, or whatever. I think I've answered all the questions. Thank you so much.
Angizizwa lezandla, this was good information, Batung. This is very good information, ne? Yonke which we had today, but it needs the people to come to us, ne? So that sizwe kahle, especially you leaders in here. Now we're coming to a question session. We are going to ask, please, one person per region, ne? One person per region. Number questions. I know you all want to ask questions, but the time is against us. So it will be one person per region, and then after that we'll get the answers. May all the stakeholders who spoke today, the experts, to remain, please, until the questions, because some of them, maybe you need to answer them for them because we don't have answers for that. Okay? I will start with Sidibeng. Anybody from Sidibeng who wants to pose a question about what was happening today and all the information you had? I see a hand there. Yes, Mami. Bese uyashoma ukuthi leyo question uyisa kuyipi department, ne?
Okay,
Yeah.
ma'am. Honorables, members of parliament, Tingu Patricia Moyikwa, Tisuke Stibeng, Tikela Okuya Pagwe housing, Nakwa Sasa. Siya sokola pa Stibeng Tina Singabanda Batala. Asi allocate kwizindlu ezo ze RDP. Apho sihlala khona kuyanetha. Apho sihlala khona siyangxolelwa ngabantwana ngezipika zabo ebusuku. Asilali ngabantwana benze up and down besela besingxolela asikhona ukulala. Masiya kwe housing kuthiwa asiqualify kuba singafumana izinto zomqhasho. Siye indawo ezininzi kwa housing mara asiqualify kuthiwa asiqualify. Sicela usizo singabantu abadala and then asihlalanga kamnandi ngaba bantwana. Okwesibini ndize kwaSASSA.
Uyangiroba ngithe one question.
Excuse. Siyapha kwaSASSA sicela ukuba abantu abadala bakhuseleke. Isenda imall abaholela kuzo abantu abadala azikho safe. Ngani ngoba kukho abantu bahamba ngentonga. Abantu bayavuka pha ngo4 no3 ufike bese bekwezi mall bezohola. But umuntu omdala mayifika ehamba ngentoko kuthiwa yamhawukwana. Baqalisa iline le apha iqala khona ikude. Please sicela usizo and bema ngenyawo isikhathe eside belambile befeinta abantu. Please sicela usizo abantu enkosi.
Thank you, ma. Okay, we'll ask West Rand. And please, if the question has been asked, then we don't repeat the question. Nangithi sizokwazi ukuqeda kahle ngesikhathi. Sidibe West Rand. West Rand. Hey, nibaningi mangapha. Wo. One of you stand up. One of you, because me fall up. Two standing. Unfortunately, it's next to, the one is next to the,
Okay.
it's fine. There's one mama, sega khona wase West Rand, ne?
Eh.
Ngiyaxolisa.
Ke le tlhompile bagolo. Lebitso la ka ke Catherine Mokhosi ke tswa ko Manseville.
As Angus. Can you?
Westland. Ntho e one fela ke kopang go e botsa ke gore ga re khona go bolella councilor gore ke kopa gore o bona ko basadi bagolo bana ba nnang teng mo mekhukhung e dutlang e ba sa kgoneng le gore ba ga gona le metsi fo ba gella metsi teng le di toilet ga gona fo ba yang toilet teng ke kopa go botsa gore ga ke khona gore ke bolelle councilor ntho mar councilor a sa kgone gore atle go tla fela a tlo bona gore ntho ke buang ka yone ke eng sa bobedi go gore councilor motho ga e ka re gotile ntlo ya ge ya tswa next week e be beke e tlang go tla go tenne ona o tlhokofetse bana ba gage ba mo strateng ebile ba bangwe ke lekile gore ke batse ke dule le bona ke a leboga
Siyabonga. Housing we pattern. Ekuruleni. Yebo mama. Advantage uhleli duze kwami.
Thank you very much, everybody who's here. I would like to thank the response of the social development when it comes to home-based care program caregivers who are employed by NPOs. It's good, but I don't think the service centers, they understand this. The government says we're no longer going to build old age homes. You must have caregivers going into, the NPOs must have the carers going back there. But we have got services that are still running from the old times. Even the new act that has come in, they are not implementing this. In so much that in our service centers, we don't have home-based carers. We don't have home-based carers that are going out. What I would like
Sorry, mami.
Yes.
Kulumela ku mic bathi bakuzwa emva. They can't hear you.
Sorry, mommy.
Thank you. I wanted to say thank you to the social development coming up with a response to say we have got the home care program for home care program caregivers who are employed by the NPOs. I don't think the NPOs understand their role when it comes to this. We know what we know is that we are no longer going to have new old age homes. But the service centers must now start home care and have the caregivers going out. There's money that is given for home care, but it's not utilized because the service centers are still using the old act. There's no implementation. And there's no follow-up when it comes to social services to say, are you having a home-based care? What are you doing with the oldies? The oldies were there from, let's say, 1994. They're old. There's nobody going to their homes to take care of them. What I'm requesting is that it's there. Let the social services ensure that the services that our older care services, they've got this program going on because the older persons are really suffering down there, and there's money, there's a regulation, there's everything that is supposed to there. Thank you.
Thank you. Hope DSD has captured that one. Tshwane.
Dumelang baholo. Nna ke Mphela from Tshwane. Potso e ke tlo e botsisang ke lebisitse mo social development. potso e ke tlo e botsisang e ke lebedisetsa ko social development. Since the funding tsa rona bahudi di stopiwa, the social work ha di sa etela di center. Ha re itse hore bothata ke eng, re itirela fela. Ne ke re le re botsisetseng potso eo ka re di center ra lla, le ko di foramong ra lla, ha re sa ba bona. Ke a leboha.
Thank you. The last one, Johannesburg. Johannesburg. It's a pity it says one per person in one region. Sorry, my love.
Good day, everybody. I want to ask the question about the funding. I want to talk, this question is based on social development. Social development, when we apply for funding, if you didn't meet the criteria that they want, they can come back to us and tell us that you didn't bring this and this, so we are not aware that what did we make wrong to the funding. And then the other question is for SASSA. I just want to ask SASSA, why are they searching our banks? Because they'll search the bank, you've got the child at overseas. The child send you money in your bank account. And then they say, why do you have such a lot of money? They don't give you money. That's my problem. And then again, I want to talk to housing department.
Yes.
Housing department, RDP are full of foreigners. Flats are full of foreigners, not South Africans. Foreigners are renting the RDP houses for the South Africans. So please help us.
Okay, let's go to the answers now. Ne? We are going to ask responses from the experts and the people who are giving us information from those departments to assist us and assist each other. At the same time, I've got good news for you also. We have a person that we can contact with all issues of older persons' rights. It's in the office of the Premier. Take these numbers. Her name is Miss Kuku Dlamini. And this name, you have them, but you don't know who to ask. Then you will call Kuku Dlamini when you reach home. Then in the Premier's office and ask anything to do with elderly people and their rights. The number is 0, that's 0, ne? 066. Palil. Phela nyana zilizongibuza ka 5. 066. Sipalile sonke angithi? The next one 306. Ipalile 9865. 9865. Nipalile asibizeni sonke. Yeah, ngicela ugugu aphakame nimbone ningathi story list. I know next time they will say we tried calling. Ayingeni and ayisho. Now siyishilo sonke siyibhale right. Kusho ukuthi wena na ungamtholi uGugu, it means you didn't dial the correct number. Thank you. Ubani uGugu? Oh, yes, Gugu. She's. Oh, but ikwela lava kubona. Yes, Gugu. But ikwela foot. Abanye, Tshwane asikwazi. Thank you very much. This to me is very, very important. Because now, when you find Gugu, at least you'll get a lot of answers. Yes. Sasa. Come, Papa. You must be seen on la.
Sanibonani. Ugama lami uDennis Muliki. Ngiyabonga ukuthi silana sizovele siphendule imbuzo yenu. Mina kahle kahle ngumSuthu but ngoba umama bekakhuluma ngesizulu ngizozama. Okay, umama bekakhuluma ngelendaba yokuthi malls, they are forced kuti ba queue and they are told to go back and forth, something like that, ne? Okay, impendulo yami engizoyisho ukuthi umama icolleague yami beka lokho ayichaza le ndaba yokuthi ungakhohle ukuthi le card le uyiphethe, you are in control. You don't have to go to that mall. You can go to anywhere. You can go to ShopRite, you can go to Pick and Pay, you can go to Boxer, you can go to Checkers. Those are the retailers. If uyahlulega awungaya kuma ATM, angisho le card le uyakhona ukudonsa imali kuma ATM. So asikho isikhathi sokuthi uvele uhambe indawo e1. Ne? That's what you have power to decide ukuthi uyilanda nini futhi le mali. Into ngifuna ukuyichaza futhi ukuthi remember SASSA is taking a decision to say we have dates allocated for abantu badala. First payment day for every month. Bazobhadala abantu abadala ngisho. So abayihlanganisi or abayidibanisi nabantwana because the issue of saying there's quite a lot of those that are receiving child support grant, ne? They are not mixing child support recipients grants with the older people. They will separate to say, on the first payment day for the month, it's only older people that can go and collect to avoid exactly what you're saying. And then the second payment day, it will be for disability. And then the third day is for child support. So all those measures were placed to say, in order to put priorities for the older people, let us have a certain date specifically for older people. We don't mix them with anyone to exactly avoid what you are talking about. So that is also addressing that. Number two, you can decide to go anywhere. There are so many retailers that you can draw money from, or you can also draw it at ATM. Those are the powers that you have, you can do. I think another thing I would assume, please, you can correct me on that one. You want to queue where you want to draw the actual money. You don't have to do that. You can go shop the money, the things that you need, food. You can also buy electricity at those retail shops. You give them your electricity number, you can do it for your convenience. And I think this is education that abantu badala bakumele bayazi lento ukuthi you can do anything. It's on the ball is on your court. You don't have to go on that day. Ungahamba the next week. Angisho you know ukuthi ama peak hours ukuthi kuyagcwala. You don't have to go on that day. Ungaya next week when it's quiet at your convenience. I think yiyo lento bengifuna ukuthi ngikuphendule ngayo ne mama. Okay, imbuzo, I think the second question, why SASSA is searching the banks. Okay, let me put this way, ne? SASSA has been doing a review process. The review process, I think it was also part of the media when SASSA said we were able to validate system with TransUnion, which is a credit institution that basically stores information. Now, part of that, remember SASSA's slogan says, paying the right social grant to the right person. Now we have issues with applicants, let me put it that way. You know you have a private pension, but you don't declare, you apply, but you don't declare that you've got an income on the side, right? So SASSA has embarked on checking with this credit institution where it also would confirm to say, you know what, you actually have other things that you did not declare at the time when you were making an application. And then SASSA now starts to sending you SMSs to say, please come and do a review and disclose everything. Do not withhold information from SASSA. Please, because we want to ensure that we are paying the right money to the right person that deserves. Remember when you say right person, meaning that even your income that you're receiving, you must also declare it so that it's taken into consideration. Ningafihli. Ngiyacela. Ngiyabonga.
Okay. These sessions need a whole day, ne? But for today, we're just taking a bit by bit. So, sizocela housing to come and answer the questions.
Okay, I'm back again. I'm very disadvantaged when it comes to languages. I can only engage isiZulu better than any other language. There is a question from Umama from Esidibengi. Uti, one, allocatiwe indlu or the allocation Esidibengi ayikho kahle. And they are struggling, the place where they stay, there's a lot of noise and all that. One, I want to know the area, specific area in Sidibengi, because from my knowledge, with all the regions, Sidibengi is one performing region in Gauteng in terms of housing, construction and housing allocation. We have what we call mega projects. Those mega projects are more in Sidibengi. So especially elder people with the numbers, my assumption, because where I work, I'm not the implementer, instead I monitor. And I can remember at some point, I received a report from Sidibengi region. The report was indicating a lot of youth allocations. That was, we had to call a meeting with the region to say, we have all the groups, we have elder people, how is it that you have more youth? I think that was Kwazenzele project, if I'm not wrong. And the understanding was that the project is not positioned to allocate older people. But then from Umama, I want to, maybe I'll try to uzoza eduze kwami so that I get more details to get exactly, so that I follow up the region. It's one of the things that I do is to follow up, but I'm not on the ground to implement. Umama ngizocela ngizombona, angizohamba until all the questions are answered. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if I must give my number because I'm not in the implementation, but nonetheless, I'll give you my number and then you'll send your information, then I'll redirect. When I say now I'm redirecting, don't feel like I don't want to attend to you, okay? My job is to do the monitoring in the department. My number is 060 895 3020. Please don't call me now because this is the phone that I'm holding. I will be distracted. 060 895 3020. If you send me any question, if you call me, I'm not going to say I'm helping you right there. But what will happen, I will then redirect you to someone who will help you, okay? And then the next question, I didn't get it clearly because it was in Sesotho. I'll then ask Umama to see me. I'll get someone who will translate properly so that I don't answer for the sake of answering. I need to understand what is the issue exactly. And then the issue of the foreigners, it was part of the responses that I wanted to give. Can I have your ears on that? I'll start from the application process. In terms of the application, can I request Abo Nkunu, Abo Mama, please don't call this number. I receive calls now as I'm talking. From the application process, the criteria to apply for an RDP house. One, you need to be a South African. Once you come with the information that you are not a South African, the system there and there, it kicks you out. But because our siblings, we are not saying it's wrong to get married to the foreigners. If umendo, ugulocator, take it with both hands. But while you are located by your husband, by your girlfriend, by whoever, it compromises the system because once this person is married to a South African, by virtue of being married to this person, what happens? He is a citizen or she's a citizen. Then how do we as a department then block you? Can we now go out and say, don't marry the foreigners? We are not allowed to do that. But I'm saying one of the reasons, but in terms of the systems and our criteria, the system does not allow anyone who's a foreigner. If you come like, you say, I here my document, I'm a Zimbabwean, that system definitely, from the get-go, you won't be able to be captured. Number two, we then allocate umamshange indlu. Umamshange, because for one or two reasons, decided, got angry with the child and then decided, oh, okay, in case you kill me, because we always have that anxiety, they might kill us. With that anxiety, and then decide to sell the house. Once you sell the house, we cannot, as a department, say, don't sell the house to Ogu, or don't sell the house to Adu. The minute we give you the keys, there is a clawback clause that say you cannot sell the house after 8 years. But our good South Africans, they undermine that clause. We are saying after 8 years, it's only when you can sell the house. But that clause is there, black and white, in our policies. But remember, for that clause to be implemented, you need to cooperate. So the houses, no one was allocated by the Human Settlement Department as a foreigner, but our South African, they decide to allocate those houses to foreigners. Thank you.
Hayi ngicela ukuceda umama la ngoba nizomfonela nimsebenzisa umsebenzi onzima. Uniphe name yakhe nje under pressure. Mara kahle. Ama councillor are the closest person. Ama councillor abantu abaseduze. Hey, madoda. Angithi namhlanje mina sikhulumela iqiniso angithi. Manje ngekho happy ngekhansela lakho. Mawungekho happy ngekhansela lakho uthi mhlambe kancane nje abantu abadala. Mangabe ungajabulanga ngekhansela lakho. Iya kunhlangano emthumile uyomreport. Yonke indawo mamelana. Yonke indawo kunama office sobizwa ukuthi ama PCO. Niyawazi ama PCO. Mawune complain ukuthi ukhansela umtholi. Ungayo reporta ku PCO. Ngoba i-department means allocation. I-department means allocation. I-consulta ukhansela. So to cancel bize umhlangano womphakathi. That's how the department works everywhere. So angithi ngamfonela umama kodwa kumele nginje iqiniso. Ngoba uyasho mangiqeda ukumfonela uzonirefera kwabanye abantu. Labantu labo basebenza namakhansela. Yawuthwisisa? Batho ba tlo refera ngobona. Basebenza le makhanselara. Because how to allocation? How to allocation? Makhanselara a bitsa kopano ya setšhaba. Ba fihle ba bitse ba announce batho ba tlo fumanang matlo in a public meeting. Ha ile re makhanselara ha bitse kopano, that's a different problem. But I'm explaining that councillors are very key. They are at the center of communicating le setšhaba. Yeah, that's a different problem that you must solve. But I had to explain so that half of money satisfaction from me, understand, because utla refera ho batho ba bang. Le ska khutla le re ausula re fa di nomoro mona ha re thuse bane half of money thuso ka speed. Le tlo la ka rona ha pro no re le ra fiwa number ya mme ene me o busy wa sebetsa ya Gauteng kaofela e tlo mohlola. Ne ke re fela ke hlaloso that if le sa thole karabe ka speed le tsebo you can still go back to your council. Hal sa fumane if na le motho a reng councilor ha thola hale itlang ho nna ka mra kopano ke tla le ba go leng fase kaofela ke tla ba chika kaofela bona. Ha o ile ka jwa le mme
Siyabonga. Usomlomo usayengasese. So we will continue. Angithi besise ku ama responses. Angithi ama questions. I think the next one should be from social development, ne? Did they answer? Okay, the next one is from social development. Was it answered? All right. DSD, have you somebody that can come and respond on behalf of social development? Animuzameli nanguyeza. Abanye go sama abon.
Okay, good afternoon, Baholo. All right. I have noted few concerns from different corridors. Number one is the East Corridor, Ekurulene, whereby me obe a buaka hore the home-based caregivers. I'm not sure if I have captured you well. Hore they are not visible because hona le bonkgono ba eleng hore ba tlhoka the services in the area, but they are not receiving. Am I right? Okay. Thank you. So, ke kopa mama, I'm not trying to be defensive, ne? But Lena, I'm not working on the ground, just like Mewa Nengatswamo. I'm working at another level, but what I can do from here, mama, the details is or the area o dulang ho yona, and then we'll escalate the complaints to the regional supervisor so that they can make a follow-up to make sure gore bonkgono they get the services. I will also give you my numbers so that mohlomong, we can talk after that, maybe just to get clarity in terms of your concern. And then another concern was from the north, which is Tshwane. Mme o be a re social workers are not visible since the fundings di khathiwa. I'm not sure about this one because what I know ke gore in terms of monitoring, the social workers tsa rona, they are monitoring the NPOs once in a quarter. So I'm not sure if you're expecting to see them regularly or they are not coming at all. But once in a quarter, they should be coming to the service, especially the organization ikile ya fundiwa before. Because we want to make sure if you didn't manage to get funding for this current financial year or whatever year of funding, then we still need you. So the social worker needs to come back and say, Lukisa 1, 2, 3. So in that case, again, I would say we'll escalate the matter to the region. But what I can request, I'm not sure if it's all, because me o tswa Tshwane, so I'm not sure if it's all the NPOs in Tshwane or is it only here. All right, we'll escalate that to the regional, Tshwane region to say this is what the complaint that emanated from the sector parliament. All the regions, I'll assume it's all the regions. Okay, no, it's fine. We normally have provincial coordinators forum whereby we're discussing all the issues. So I will make sure that all these issues are, but before that, because I'm not sure when is our next coordinators forum, I will make sure that I escalate the matter even before we can have our provincial forum, so that by the time they come into the provincial forum meeting, and then maybe they do have the answers, but you are all noted. And then the other one, the last one was regarding application for funding. There's no feedback. I'm not sure which region was this. I didn't get the name, to note the corridor that was complaining about. Once you submitting the business plans for funding, but once you are not able to get the funding, we are not coming back to you to say you didn't get funding because of 1, 2, 3. The focus is mainly on the organizations that have received funding, because there's a lot of paperwork that has to be done. But I'm not saying you are not supposed to get feedback. So this one, I will clap it with the one where social workers are not visiting the NPOs anymore, because I think by the time when they come to monitor the organization, it's when they're supposed to tell you you didn't get the funding based on 1, 2, 3. So I will club the items together, and then I will make sure that I escalate this to the relevant regions. It's fine, I will give you my number. But even if you can call me, please bear in mind that I'm not on the operational level. So I'm still going to refer your queries or whatever back to your regions. Lucky enough, I'm at the provincial office, so whether you are Tshwane or Ekurhuleni or wherever, all the complaints, they may come to us, and then we escalate back to the regions. So my number is 066 044 3396. Do you get it? 066 044 3396. It will come straight to me when you call, ne? Ke a leboga.
I see hands there, we're done. We are not taking questions. We were doing questions from 5 regions, and then we are done. So it's not a session for questions for everybody. We just took 5, just to have, and it took out none. If you looked at my questions, it covered a lot of things that came out from that question. So I'm not sure those hands, are you looking for microphones or for something else? But if it's questions, we done. Okay? And then we got numbers to check, and then we know where to go and find information from. And then they're still standing up. It's not question time. We are, yeah, I know you're banning, Mama. Before you ban, you know me, I'm a healthcare worker. Don't ban because I'll go to hell. Then Mama uzoti isasa staying ngane, and that is not banning. Should I allow her? She says she's banning, and if she's banning, then the other one will be drowning. So it's over, ne? Yeah, she can write her question down. We have the people here from ICC, we have people from SASA, we have people, all those departments are here. And they are here until we leave. So if you have something, come to them and then ask so that they help you. Because remember, some of these questions, other people don't have a problem with that. Do you understand? I will just give one example. With social workers, there are municipal social workers in our areas, and they work with the DSD with information. If she's there to help you, you can use her, because that is information. Remember, we are not using them for funding. We're using them to help us with psychosocial problems of the elders. Isn't it? It's not only for funding a social worker. A social worker has so much to offer without ILO. We are struggling with mental health with the elders. Social workers are helping. Nurses are helping. So that's what I'm trying to say. Let's use the resources that we have even in our areas, but consulting the experts. Are you happy? I know, please don't drown, don't burn. We still have another year to go. Remember, we did it last year, we're doing it this year. So when they call meetings to come and talk about issues of elderly people, come, bring information, bring issues, let's discuss them. When we come to such areas, we are all informed, ne? So, sorry for today, we did so well until so far. Thank you very much. Zishayeleni izandla, ipetheleng matsogo, tiendleleni mavoko. At least I can speak 5 languages. Then we are going to get the last item. We are going to get closing remarks from our Honorable Dr. Tshwane. Thank you. Matsogo, izandla, are you drowning?
Program Director, thank you very much. To you, our Deputy Chairperson of Portfolio, Honorable Thulani Kunene, honorable members of the legislature present here, representatives of the Office of the Premier in the absentia, officials from the Department of Social Development, from the Department of Human Settlement, Department of Justice, our representatives from SASA, I saw our representatives from IEC, to you, our golden stakeholders, our elderly people, our senior people, to the ladies and gentlemen, good day. Program Director, as we come to close this senior citizen feedback session, allow me to express my deepest gratitude to all who have contributed to making today's success. Wouldn't have been here have they managed to book this hall on time, have they managed to arrange all those translators at the back. I saw our elderly people, you are wearing some nice headset. I don't know if you are playing music there, but I can tell you, if we are speaking in English, you are able to hear us in your different vernacular. The discussion we have had today were not just informative. They were very reaffirmation of our collective commitment to honor, respect, and empower our elderly. Your voices, your experience, and insight remind us that our senior citizens are not a forgotten generation. You are our pillar of wisdom. You are our strength, resilience, who continue to shape our society in a countless ways. I must say that looking around, I recognize some of the faces that were part of the sector parliament that took place in Kutsong Multipurpose Hall in October last year. And those who were there, hello. And I wish to extend my sincere appreciation to various departments that responded to the resolutions that were raised there. And our senior citizen, if you can remember, you always had issues with the Department of Social Development. And I would like to thank you for outlining steps that have been taken to strengthen the elderly care and protection programs. But if you listen to our elderly, some of them have repeated the same concern that they had last year. If you listen to them, they are saying, yes, we do have social workers in our area, but it is really unacceptable, and we are sharing with you as the official that they cannot even walk to the houses of the elderly. They are saying we are getting funded, or we apply for funding, and we get rejected, and we don't even get a response to say, this is why you couldn't fund you. And this touches me because you have seen when they introduced me, they said I'm the portfolio chairperson for social development. So it is very disheartening, Deputy Chair of Chair, to see here that some of these NPO are manned by elderly people. So it means they are manned by their brothers and sisters, and they know their needs. And it will be very painful when you are elderly or you are guiding an NPO based on your experience, and you know this is a need in the society. And you know if I can get that little 10,000 rand, I'm going to be feeding the elderly that I know. And you get a letter that say, I can't fund you. But you also don't get the reason why. So while I'm standing here, I would like to use this opportunity to invite you to come and meet me and the MEC of Social Development in Soweto next week on the 4th. The department will be coming to account to me on how they've utilized their resources for the financial year 2024-2025. So it will be very interesting and very pleasing for me as the portfolio chair to see you raising hands and asking you those questions in front of me so that you can be answered right there, and I will be able to note that. As my sister said, I will be taking them down. So here is an opportunity. And there is transport also. I will ask Ntate Sipho Ncwala so he can stand up and you look at him. Where is Sipo at the back? I will bring Sipo here. So he's the one who makes sure that there is transport for you guys. So you can arrive there. It will be at Soweto. If you can give me an opportunity to open my... All right, you want to write. I realize that you like writing. It will be at the mini multi-purpose hall. You are not writing. The mini multi-purpose hall. It is on Koma Street, Moroka, Soweto. Yeah, everything will start at 10 o'clock. So come there to strengthen us. We can tell you all the questions that you ask, they fall within a program within the Department of Social Development called Program 3, that is responsible for families and children. So next week I will be checking how much money they've used under that program and what did they use that money for. And you will be there to ask questions that, yes, we hear you, but that service never reached us. Now I want to, you see, you removed me from my prepared speech. Now, but that's because I'm giving too much information, I guess. To the Department of Justice, you will remember while we were in Gauteng last year, our elderly asked questions. There is Sipo for you. There is Sipo. Sipo, I would like to see at least a fraction of the people that are here being there next week. So you can sit there and then they will ask you. He will make sure that you are delivered there. But let's go to the Department of Justice. Last year, because I was there and you will understand, I listened. Our elderly said, we do have houses and we get old. Then our children, they want to take me to an old age home and they sell my house. And they said, Department of Justice, help us. What must I do? Then here I am. I will quickly try to sell my house and enjoy my pension and my money. And then their SARS come want to punish me. So these are some of the questions you were asking and some of the assistance you were asking. You see, I was listening. Yeah. And then I'm happy that Department of Justice look at that. But most importantly, you said we don't know where to write our will. To write a will is very expensive. Can you also take us to areas where they can assist us to write our will? And I'm happy that the Department of Justice is here. And I'm happy that they've responded to you. And to you, Sasa, our elderly are saying, we don't hide our money. Just guide us. Don't ambush us. Don't ambush us. We were teachers. We were lawyers. And it happened that life dimmed on us. But because we were teachers and we were lawyers and we were all that, we managed to raise good children. While you were giving me that Sasa, they are so happy. They thank me. They send me money. You pounce on me. So they say, Oscar Kukuneza, tell us on time, so already shifted. Because we are voters. We still want to get that money. So skare kukunetsa wa renkela wa bloka Sasa re enjoy. You know, being the chairperson of Portfolio Committee on Social, you start to understand the vulnerable. You will remember last time it was the young ones and all that. So I also understand you. But let me say, Sasa, thank you for making sure that your awareness is clear and they understand. They will come up with tricks. Remember, they are our wisdom, fountain of wisdom. They know how they will dodge you. Your participation here today demonstrates a government that listens, that responds, that acts, a government that values accountability to the people that it serves. To you, Program Director, today's feedback session has strengthened our resolves as Gauteng Provincial Legislature to continue playing our oversight role with vigilance and compassion. That is why I'm inviting you for next week, so you can see the oversight role that we are doing. The Office of the Deputy Chairperson of Committees, together with the Portfolio Committee of Social Development, will ensure that the commitments made today do not end here, but translate into tangible improvements in our lives and the lives of our senior citizens, the lovely ones. To our elderly, who have joined us from all corners of the province, thank you so much for your patience. The reason why the program director was pushing and pushing that we finish, understand you so well, because it's also part of you. Renwadi Pilisi, you must eat before Renwadi Pilisi. So we can't talk forever and ever and ever. But you are, and you remain, the heartbeat of our communities, the conscience of our democracy. We remain committed to ensuring that your golden years are marked by dignity, by safety, by inclusion, and opportunities that we will share with you as our elderly. As we conclude, let us live here with a renewed sense of purpose, to work together across government and communities, to make Gauteng our province, where every senior citizen feels valued, supported, empowered to live a fulfilling life. Once again, I thank you all for your active participation today here, your dedication to this important work. May you travel safely back to your homes, and may our shared efforts continue to bring progress and hope to the lives of our elderly citizens. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker and Honorable President.
Cela sishaye futhi izandla kakhulu. Thank you very much, Honorable Dr. Tshwane. On behalf of the elders in here, we'd like to say thank you. You know, you have given us hope. From what he was saying, to me, as the year of Jubilee, the year of hope, he is saying what we are doing, we are on the right track. Don't give up. Let's work and fight for all the other gogos who cannot do it themselves. His words were wonderful. They went directly into my heart. Nawe bose ucabanga ukuthi uyangala uyayeka. Dr. Tshwane today has said a mouthful. Go on and let's help our elders. And thank you to all the speakers of today. Siyanibonga kakhulu, sizonidinga kakhulu, sizonifonela. Siyafona thina. Lastly, we are going to ask Honorable Usoli Mhlala to give the announcements.
Thank you. Just a quick order, honorable members. Just a quick announcement. We have prepared that as you leave the hall, we will use the door to my left at the back. There is colleagues that are going to assist you. And because we know that we're dealing with very orderly and very intelligent people, we would like to start from the back on the left as we go. And we would like to have everybody remain seated up until you are called. And secondly, we have prepared, courtesy of the Office of the Premier, a very wonderful package when you reach the door outside to the transports that will be taking you home. And we'd like to request the front table chair that you do not move, please remain seated. We have arranged with our communication team for a group photo shoot for the front. So we'll just remove the chairs and have the photo shoot. And then after that, together with the officials, you will then be escorted to the holding room. And would like to thank you all for the opportunity. Thank you. Oh, okay. Please, the earpieces that we were using for translation, they are useless if you leave them, or if you live with them outside of this hall. They work only in this hall. So we'll be asking the colleagues to come collect them so that you don't make a mistake of carrying something so weighty and taking it home only to realize that it is not any useful. Thank you. And no, as you go out, you will be given your lunch, and outside you'll get the surprise package. But we will be taking you out, escorting you as you go and getting the food. So you may remain seated up until you will then be ushered outside. Thank you.